considered when you spend your money at these mega corporations where it's going? Are you aware that your hard-earned money is being used to support political corruption, which leads to poor federal leadership, hurting our economy, contributing to the overall detriment of our society? This is heavy stuff to think about, I know, but it's time we fought back. Introducing Professor Toto's The Patriots Buying Club. Here, we are a club that gives you the power to invest in companies that uphold patriotic and conservative values your family can respect. Rather than spending your money with these major corporations, we've partnered with a direct consumer company that offers over 400 high-quality, sustainable, and effective products that can be delivered fast, directly to your front door. So many patriots across America has joined us in this walkaway movement. Now it's your turn. Go to www.buybuywalmart.com to join Professor Toto's The Patriots Buying Club today.
And we will make America great again. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
In the far distant land of common sense, a place where we all once lived, you'll find the Conservative College with Professor Toto. It is here where the foundational principles of our great republic are still taught and true patriots are still educated in the hallowed halls of this school of hope. Just like the iconic puppy from The Wizard of Oz, who found great joy in pulling back the curtain on the lies of the wizard, so does Professor Toto. Grab your seats and welcome to the Conservative College. Class begins now.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. That sound is the sound of a call for you to rise and shine and get into class with all of your fellow classmates and with me, your humble, neighborhood, friendly, fluffy professor, Professor Toto, called to educate the Republic, to help restore the Republic. And thank you tonight for joining me. I hope that you're all safely huddled up in your homes tonight. I realize that it's cold across America, and it's cold here in South Mississippi on the Gulf Coast. It's the coldest we've had this year, and this weekend we're getting down in the teens. So we've been busy getting my garden ready for the winter, trying to save the plants and the koi fish. And so anyway, I do hope that you're all safe and warm, and thank you tonight for joining me. I have a very special message tonight that I want to share with you as soon as we go over today's news. When we get to my monologue, I really have something on my heart that I want to share with all Americans, all patriots that are watching tonight. It never ceases to amaze me, all the people that watch this little bitty broadcast. I get emails that would blow your mind from all over, day after day, and it never slows down. People are watching. People's lives are being changed. And many people have found Pastor Vaughn, which is the other side of Professor Toto, follow all of my religious teachings. And now we've built a great church across the nation. And it's just amazing to look back over the last 2 years and see how far we've all come. But it's a God thing, and it's a good thing. And I'm so thankful for those of you that have been with me from the beginning, or those of you that's joining us tonight for the very first time. Welcome. This is the Conservative College, better known as the Restoration College, where we're trying to restore America, one town at a time, one patriot at a time. And tonight I'm going to take 60 seconds and shout out to my friends and tell you hello. Faye Diptine or Diptine. Good evening, Doreen Anaquich. Good evening, Miss Brenda Ray. Good evening to Linda Garner from Mississippi. Hello, Linda. Renee Ashcraft from Michigan. Ange Garassi from Connecticut. Carol Martin from Texas. Rhode Island, Angela Zialo. Good evening, Angela. Diana Hernandez, Adam Wingo. Cindy Spencer from Brooksville, Florida. Zachary Haney, my good friend. He comes to all of my events. Good to see you tonight, Zachary. Natalie Conway from Florida. Grace O'Rourke. Good to see you from Maine. Hello from Elena LaQuire. That's a special young girl. I heard through the grapevine that Elena got the book I recommended. I can't find it right now, but it's called Common Sense by Thomas Paine. And I'm so proud of Elena for getting that book. It's very hard to read, but I'm going to be breaking that book down very soon. Janice Hardy has been with me from the very beginning. Yes, you have, Janice. We've been through some rough waters together, but the ship is still sailing. Marion, good evening. Gino Lawless, always good to see you. And Vicki Rasmussen from Colorado. Gabe Barnhart from Arizona and West Virginia. Brother Alan Trost, he's from our local church here. And hello, Mary LaQuire, little Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? She's from Michigan. Anita Norjo, Judy Colson, Lori Eaton. Wow, my 60 seconds are up. Wow. Let's see on Rumble. Barbara, Raphael Boo Boo, Salty Sandy, Bandit Bunner, Jidge, Kushan, Miss Kushan, Eileen. I got your letter in the mail today. I was so happy to see your blessings. Amen. And then over on FHTV, Patricia Parsons, Susan Salvatore, Lori Graham, Anita Isahak, so many wonderful patriots out there tonight. And Sister Sue Shipman said she sent me some private messages today. Well, I'll go look for them tonight. Hello, Kanoy, and Brother Gino Young. That's my brother from another mother. Aloha to Dakine 808. Good to see you tonight. God bless you, Susie Q from Texas. We love all of our friends. I want to give a quick shout out tonight to dear friends of Professor Toto and Pastor Vaughn. Many of you know that we're building a new TV studio behind our church. We've already bought and paid for the building. It's all paid for. And now we are in there getting it ready to totally design it for Toto lives like tonight, and also my ministry center for all of our teaching videos. And we're going to be putting the preaching on television very soon. So we've been getting that studio ready. We'll have office hours there for Professor Toto's Conservative College. You'll be able to call, speak to secretaries and the ministry. You can call in every day. We'll have office hours. And so we've been getting that studio and that office ready. And we received a very special donation today. And I want to thank the man and woman that donated all of the flooring for the studio, all of the beautiful hardwood flooring. That would be Sierra Tile and Stone in Midland, Texas. Sierra Tile and Stone in Midland, Texas. They're shipping us free of charge all of the flooring for the studio, saving us thousands of dollars. That would be Mr. Cliff and Miss April Rickman. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your generous and kind donation to our studio. We look forward to sending the word of God around the world from that little small beginning that you have a hand in. Thank you so, so much. Well, there is so much good news tonight that I want to talk to you about before we get to my monologue. So much good news. I don't even know where to start, to be honest with you. God is doing wonderful things all over our republic. So can you handle some good news tonight? Well, let's start out in Arizona. Why don't we? For everyone that thinks we never get a break in the courts, well, the judge in Arizona has agreed to let Kerry Lake's charges against Katie Hobbs go to court. And now, this is a direct quote from Kerry Lake. Our election case is going to trial. Katie Hobbs' attempt to have our case thrown out failed. She will have to take the stand and testify under oath. Buckle up, America. This is far from over. Go get them, Kerry Lake. Congratulations. And thank God for an honest judge in Arizona that's going to let that go to trial. So we're very grateful for that. Also, congratulations tonight are in order for the United States military. As of today, the United States military will no longer be forced or required to take the COVID death vaccine. Today, it's over. The nightmare ends in America for our military men and women. And now, the Congress is pushing now for all of those soldiers to be reinstated with back pay. That's exactly right, with back pay. Congratulations, you brave servicemen and women that stood up for your rights as a human, as an individual. I've told you for a long time, it may be a long time coming, but when truth comes, it doesn't take long. I always told you, fellow patriots, that we always win in the end. We always win in the end. And now these soldiers will get back pay. One lump sum for their troubles. Congratulations to our great servicemen. Also, another huge victory that I want to tell you about. This victory, I just rejoiced when I saw this victory today. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is from Oberlin, Ohio. Oberlin, Ohio. I'm going to give you the story real quick. There was a bakery there called Gibson's Bakery. And when Donald Trump was elected president, there was people rioting in the streets in Oberlin. One of the young people broke in to their bakery and stole some things and was running out. And the proprietor of the bakery simply detained that man and would not let him leave with his stolen items. And this young man went to a college there, and I believe the name of that college is Oberlin College, maybe. Yeah, Oberlin College. Well, the college got involved when they shouldn't have. It was a legal matter, but the college got involved. He stole a bottle of wine. His name was Jonathan Alladin, and he stole a bottle of wine. The owner pursued him out and down the street, and then two female friends of the thief got into an altercation with the business owner. In other words, you can't protect your businesses in America anymore. You can't protect the establishments that you own anymore. That's the America we live in now. And they beat this owner and the students. All three of them beat him. Well, the college got involved, and the college declared that this bakery was racist because the man that stole the wine was a minority. And this is what Miss Lorna Gibson, she's the wife of the owner, said. She said the school put out a statement that implied that this was not an isolated incident. The school student senate passed a resolution urging the school to cut ties with us, which was posted in a display case at the student center. Our business, from the students themselves and the administrators, we have a small grocery store. We sell beer and wine in addition to pastries and candies. Our business dried up completely. And then the students started showing up to protest our business. Now, this all started from a thief, a little punk that thinks he's privileged, that thinks he's special or extra. He broke in, they stop him, the school calls them racist, and now all their business dries up in that little Oberlin, Ohio town. Anyway, her husband, David, met with the president of the school to prove to him that they were not racist, asking them to retract their claims that they were racist, and the school would not. Instead, the school made a proposal that if any of their students break in and steal something, call us, don't call the police. Well, he was not agreeing to that. So these three students finally pled guilty to the robbery. And I want to give you the good news. It has taken 5-6 years for them to clear their name that they're not racist. In those 6 years, her husband died. He didn't live to see this victory. But now, today, in a court of law, where we always win in the end, $36 million was ordered to be paid, and Oberlin School has paid the $36 million to Oberlin Bakery. Miss Oberlin, I know this doesn't bring your husband back. She says he died from the stress of all of this, but we're so happy that your children and your grandchildren will live wonderful lives because justice was done. This must come to an end in America. This breaking in places and thinking you have a right to do it. So I'm so pleased tonight for that family. If you live anywhere in Ohio, get over to Gibson's Candy and Bakery and go let them know how happy you are for them. Congratulations to that wonderful, wonderful ending. But before I go to the next story, here is what Oberlin College said. We are disappointed by the court's decision. However, this does not diminish our respect for the law and the integrity of our legal system. This matter has been painful for everyone. We hope that the end of the litigation will begin the healing of our entire community. Not one apology, not one statement that, you know what, maybe we jumped the gun. Maybe they're not racist. Maybe they were protecting their business, but you want to start healing in the community. What a joke. But anyway, so that's a great story. I'm so happy tonight to hear that story about the little man winning against these thugs, these little cockroaches. Ladies and gentlemen, there's breaking news with Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan knew that the Department of Justice was spying on Representative Nunes and his staff. He allowed it to happen, and he never notified President Trump that it was going on. And now who sits on the board at Fox News? You guessed it, Paul Ryan. That's right. Now you might know why they're not covering President Trump on Fox News anymore. So anyway, and also tonight, before I get to my monologue, the January 6th Communist Circus Committee, that's what they are, Communist Circus Committee, the Clown Committee, the Stupid Committee. Let me ask you a question. If I was going to put a committee together to investigate you, and everybody on the committee hates you, they'll admit they hate you, what kind of committee is that? It's a joke. For those of you that's worried, don't worry. It will come to nothing. It's one great big nothing burger. I'll be back in 60 seconds to bring you my monologue tonight. Please don't go anywhere.
The volatility of the U.S. dollar is a harsh reality. We've seen the stock market come across ramped losses, even over the past 20 years. There's a need for an alternate financial strategy. How about gold or silver? Welcome to God's Money. With the PSI Security Platform, you can build your wealth and secure your future with precious metals that withstand the test of time. Gold and silver are the secrets the wealthy have used to accumulate and protect their wealth for decades. God's Money works with a team of world-class experts to deliver rare, high-quality, unique precious metals at impressive prices. Don't have the money to invest in silver and gold? No problem. Join our Coin of the Month program. With this amazing program, we will send you a little silver on a monthly basis. Consider this opportunity before it's too late. Act now. Go to www.godsmoney.info.
You tonight from the bottom of my heart. I want to have a heart-to-heart with you, my fellow patriots. I want to explain some things that I really believe are going to help you to understand how you and I can make any kind of a difference in America. Regular people like you and me that don't have a lot of money, we don't have a lot of influence, we're just the common man. We're just the little people. We don't have any special powers. We don't have any special influence. We get up. We try to do the right thing every day. We go home. We make a living. We just try to be good citizens. And sometimes we feel helpless. Sometimes we believe that the world is spinning out of control and there's nothing no one can do to stop it. I want to talk to you tonight. And the title of my monologue is America, It's Your Turn. And I really want you to zoom in. If you're starting to fall asleep on me, wake back up. Look me eyeball to eyeball. I've really got something on my heart tonight that I want to share with you so you can know that you are not helpless. You are not a victim. And this world is not out of control. And America is not finished. She's close to it, but she is not finished. I sat down this morning at my desk where I come every Tuesday and Thursday morning. The first thing I do when I sit here, I begin to look for the mind of God on what I'm supposed to share with all of you that grace me with the privilege of bringing me into your homes. I never take this show for granted, and I never bring you things that don't matter. I don't bring you conspiracy theories or rabbit holes. I always bring you what I believe the Father has laid on my heart. So this morning when I did that, like I always do, a message came to me from above in prayer. And many of you that are watching, I believe this is going to help you tonight. Because indeed, it's easy to feel helpless. We all know that deep inside, America has crossed a dangerous threshold of seemingly no return. No matter how much we wish for it not to be so, something has invaded the minds of Americans. Something has invaded the way that people think to the point where they no longer value the ideals of America. A nation that was founded on Judeo-Christian values, no one can argue that. A nation that was dedicated to the faith and the gospel of Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, and no one can deny that. We can't deny it because for all of our history, 200 to 300 years, we have been a Christian nation. But in the last 30 years, 30 to 40 at the max, there has been a drastic change in America. There's been a change in the minds of our fellow countrymen. There's been a turning of the tide from deep-seated patriotism to even an attempt now to want us to feel ashamed that we're Americans, to make us ashamed of our greatness, to make us ashamed of our past because of mistakes of the past, which pale in comparison to the glorious virtues of our past. What caused this? What caused the change in the American mindset? You know, that apple pie, that homemade ice cream on the front porch mentality. You know, with Uncle Joe on the guitar and Aunt Mary on the banjo and someone at the piano and someone playing the spoons, singing, I saw the light. Thank God I saw the light. America, where we were proud of who we were as a people. We were proud of our legal immigration policy. We were proud of what we had become, a bastion of the gospel. But what caused it, and more importantly tonight, is there a cure for this disease of democracy? In our history, we were proud citizens of the states that we were born in, the states we were residents of, before we were taken over in our minds by something called Americanism or colonialism or a mentality of democracy. What changed our thinking from proud Americans to almost ashamed to be American? Now, the cure. We know the problem. You know the problem. I know the problem. And if we all want to get depressed tonight, we can focus on that problem. Let me give you a problem. In my hometown, in Waveland, Mississippi, in the county of Hancock, where I live, there was a newspaper article today that I read that blew my mind. There was a man arrested in our town, a small, sleepy village. When they arrested this man, they smelled marijuana and they saw 2 digital scales on his kitchen table. They began to do a search of his home right here in our town. Here's what they found. They found enough fentanyl to kill the entire population of Hancock County. That's right. In our little town, one man in his home was enough fentanyl to kill every citizen of Hancock County. That is the world that we live in now in America. Lawlessness, lack of respect, lack of law and order, lack of civility. So we know the problem. And yes, there is a problem with voting irregularity, with fraud, with schemes and midnight madness. We know the problem. But the question tonight is there a cure? The answer is yes, there is a cure. And I've come to present it to you tonight. And the way I'm going to do that, many of you, like me, that grew up in America, knows very little about a holiday that is happening right now. As a matter of fact, tonight is the 3rd night of that holiday. If you're not familiar with it, it's called Hanukkah. And you are probably not familiar with it any more than I was. I never gave it a second thought. And therefore, I didn't understand anything about Hanukkah because it is mainly a Jewish holiday. However, over the last few years, we have come to love and appreciate Hanukkah. As a matter of fact, this last weekend, I spent a total of 6 hours teaching on Hanukkah to people that had traveled in to our little church from all across the nation. I taught them about Hanukkah for 2 days, 6 hours. Both of those videos, for those that's interested, is available to watch right now. If you'd like to educate yourself and your children, you can go to fhtv.tv. F as in first, H as in harvest, TV.TV. Go there and you'll see both videos, part 1 and part 2 about Hanukkah. But tonight, I would like to introduce all of you to what I believe the cure for America is. Remember the title of tonight's monologue, America, it's your turn. I want to introduce you to the holiday and tell you what it has to do with you and America, and why I believe that the Father wants me tonight to use this holiday to call Americans. That means you. Knock, knock. That's you. You're an American. He spoke to my heart today that the cure for America can be found in the story of Hanukkah. And I want you to learn from this holiday tonight and see how America must have their own Hanukkah. America, it is now your turn for your own Hanukkah celebration. I'm going to use the story of Hanukkah tonight to explain to you what is happening in America and how it relates to Hanukkah. The long and short of Hanukkah is quite simply this. I'm not going to give you all the details tonight. You can go watch those 2 videos for all the details you could ever want. I'm going to give you the long and the short of it. Basically, the Jewish people lost their temple. If you don't understand the Jewish way of life, God or Yahweh was first to the Jewish people in all areas of their life. And it was represented by the temple. They loved the temple. The temple connected them to their identity. It connected them to their God and to their destiny as a people. The temple was their national identity. Just like the American flag and the White House is our national identity. The temple was their national pride and their national honor. It made them different. It made them unique. But slowly and surely, they began to yield or not count important their identity. They begin to give up their uniqueness slowly but surely. And ironically, it took about 200 to 300 years. That's about how long it took for them to begin to give up their destiny, their dreams of greatness, their dreams of difference, their dreams of what made them special. It took a long time for them to lose their temple. It did not happen overnight. How did it happen? Because there was invading ideas from the larger empire. And these ideas that was coming to them from the empire that they belonged to, notably Greece, Alexander the Great, this was the empire that had taken over Jerusalem, where the temple was. Now, they allowed those people in Jerusalem to keep their religion. They allowed them to think they were free. But slowly but surely, Greece, the way of thinking from Greece, began to pervade their minds. I asked you a while ago, what happened to the American mindset? What happened? Tonight, you're going to get the answer and you're going to get the cure. So basically, this empire, Macedonia, Greece, colonized the Jewish people. And they lost their temple about 300 years after Greece took over. They woke up one day and their temple was desecrated. It had been desecrated by Antiochus Epiphanes, the first Antichrist. He had destroyed their identity. He had destroyed their national pride. He had destroyed their national way of thinking. It was almost too late. Now, he did not destroy the temple itself. He destroyed what made the temple unique. He came in and slaughtered a pig inside of a Jewish temple, which was the abomination of desolation. It was a horrible thing to do. Alexander the Great, when he took over the Jewish people, he had a certain mindset called Hellenism. Hellenism was a certain way of living life. It was a worldview that was completely different from the Jewish way of life. In the mind of a Hellenist or a Greek, life was all about the moment. Life was all about sports, entertainment, Olympic stadiums, football games, football teams. I know they didn't have football back then, but follow along with me. The parallel is the same. They was all about living in the moment of whatever pleased the flesh. They were hedonistic. There was no forethought in the Greek mindset. There was no fear of Yahweh. There was no eternal law. There was only the way of the Greeks. And when the Greeks took over, Alexander the Great, when they took over the Jewish way of life, those Jews were nothing like the Greeks. When the Greeks never thought of God, that's all the Jews thought about. When the Greeks put sports first, the Jews put Yahweh first. When the Greeks were trying to take care of themselves, the Jews were bringing their tithe to the temple. They were just totally different, just like America from the rest of the whole world is totally different. They were as well. They were set apart. They were completely focused on doing the work of God. Colonialism is when an empire spreads their way of life to others without even putting up a fight. It's real simple. A colonialism, or the British Empire, when they took over Jamaica or South Africa, there was no war. There was no battle. It was, hey, we're bigger than you. You know we can destroy you. So why don't you just join the empire willingly, and we just won't come in and kill all of you. And we'll trade with you. Everybody gets along. And so South Africa joins the empire. But one of the first things they realize in South Africa and India and Hong Kong is that if you want to survive in the empire, you need to learn English. You need to start changing your culture, your customs. You can do it in the background, but when it comes to the streets, you need to become British. That's the way colonization works. They begin to take over the way you think. They re-educate your mind. Colonialism only works if their teachers can come in and re-educate your mind. When the last hope was gone for Jerusalem, their minds had all been re-educated by the Greeks. They were in love with the Greek way of thinking. They loved what they had to say about tolerance and letting gays get married and just kumbaya and lovey-dovey, wovey-wovey. They admired the Greeks for their progressive way of thinking. They admired Hellenization for the fun and the liberty that it brought them. It could get them away from those old 10 commandments, couldn't it? Yeah. Who wouldn't want to be a Greek? The Greeks were taking over the world. And finally, the Greeks decided they wanted to take over the church, the temple. They installed their own high priest by the name of Menelaus. And Menelaus' job was to make the church more Greek and less Hebrew, to convert their thinking from obedience to the law of God to tolerance of all ways of life. And slowly but surely, the people begin to let their mind be brainwashed and seduced by this way of thinking. All hope was almost gone. The temple had been desecrated. The menorah where the light burned, there's a commandment in the Hebrew Bible that said never let the menorah go out, ever. Keep it filled with pure oil so that those 7 branches would burn in the temple of God and it would be a shining city on a hill. Is anybody listening tonight? That menorah would make these people the shining city on a hill. But now, when the Greeks took over the temple, they didn't care about the light that made these people different. As a matter of fact, they wanted the light to go out, and it did. All hope was almost gone. But, somebody say, but God. Somewhere out in the country, in the land of Modine, there was a small little preacher from a small little town, and he was the priest. And when they came to his church, the Greeks, to try to take his identity away, he decided enough was enough. And they probably said to him, Mattathias, that was his name, just go with the flow. The world is changing. America is changing. Give it up, old man. It's never going back to the way it was. What did he do? He pulled out a sword and he began to destroy those soldiers that wanted him to desecrate the temple of God. And to make a long story short, about 6 years later, him and his sons and a small group of patriots, a small group of patriots went into the mountains. They went in there in isolation to prepare to take America back. To take Jerusalem, the temple, back. They knew that little is much when God is in it. They loved their country. They loved what made them who they are. And they were determined they were going to make a difference. The small band of 600 soldiers, they made up in their mind. They decided no one is coming to save us. Not even Donald Trump. Not even Ronald Reagan. No one person can stop or save America. No one person can fight these invaders, these colonizers that have come into our temple called America. No one person can stop them. All that Donald Trump can do is raise up, like Mattathias did, a small army of patriots that will not let him do it by himself, but they will go into those mountains with him, the hammer of God, and restore America while there's still hope. Hope is almost gone. The light of hope in the menorah is out. America as she stands today is over. She has crossed the mercy line. She's gone too far away from God, Yahweh. But so had Israel. The lights were going out. Even Motel 6 had turned the lights out. That's when it's bad. The light was going out. And when these 600 men followed Mattathias, Mattathias died in those 6 years. His son Judas, the hammer, took over and led these 600 patriots into the city, that shining city on a hill. And they walked into that temple with supernatural help from God. When they got to the temple, it was not the Greeks that they were fighting, but they were battling with their fellow countrymen that had lost their love for the temple. They were fighting their fellow Americans that had given up the idea of America. They were fighting their fellow patriots that were no longer patriotic. They knew that no one was coming to save them. They knew that if America is going to be, it's up to me. They understood that even though the battle belongs to the Lord has to have an army of 600 or 300 or just a handful that will never give up on America or the temple. Ladies and gentlemen, when they walked into the temple for Hanukkah, there was no light in the temple. And they went to relight the menorah, or they went to raise the flag, the American flag, on the pole. All they had was enough oil for that menorah to shine for one day. But they didn't care. They said, light it up. And it took them, it took them 8 days to make pure oil for that menorah. But while they were working and doing what seemed impossible, while they were looking for oil, the God of heaven, Yahweh, the Almighty Elohim, provided supernaturally 8 days of oil for new beginnings. Every time they looked at the menorah, it looked like it would go out. But God provided light until they could bring in the oil. Ladies and gentlemen, Hanukkah is the feast of dedication. When they rededicated their nation to God, when they rededicated the temple to holiness for the purpose of their birth, they rededicated it. And I heard the Lord say to me this morning, America, it's your turn for your own relighting of the menorah. It's your turn for the raising of the flag. It's your turn to take back what the Father gave you many, many, many years ago in our beginning, in our very beginning. I hope you're hearing what the Lord is saying tonight. Hallelujah. God is calling America to forget the problem and find the cure. The cure is you. The cure is one person connecting with another person that says, we may not have enough oil, but what oil we do have, we're going to burn the light where we are. And then I give you my word as a man of God. If you'll light the first flame, he'll light the other. Well, I said he'll light the rest. If you'll take the first step, God will save America through you and your seemingly significance. There is an empire of darkness. It's called the cabal. There's an empire of darkness that despises American values, independence, individuality, freedom of religion, freedom of choice. That empire is real. And just like Alexander the Great rushed through the earth, spreading Hellenism, this dark empire is spreading across the world, spreading socialism, fascism, spreading reverse racism, spreading classism, technocracy. This empire has a language of its own. This empire is a godless empire that hates America. America is a temple established by Yahweh himself. He established it with men and women that are descendants of the lost tribes of the house of Israel. We were established as a sacred temple, a nation, along with Great Britain. They are the lion. We are the eagle. In Bible prophecy, at one time, the wings of the eagle was on the back of the lion. But in Bible prophecy, those wings separated from the lion, didn't it? And those wings stood up with the heart of a man. That is America. Yahweh separated Ephraim from Manasseh. And we came here and built a temple. I tell you, we built a temple. We didn't build a nation. We built a temple that was to declare to the nations of the world the virtues of freedom for all. One nation under God. One nation under Yahweh. This was our mantra. This was our mission. This was our mandate. We were a temple. We were not like the rest of the world. A mandate that we fulfilled for many years. We sent missionaries around the world, giving a place for freedom of religion and speech and the pursuit of happiness. This was our temple. And we held it sacred. We held her ideas with sacricity. We fought for her and shed blood to protect this temple. There was a time we had a fight in us for all things Americana. There was a time when we heard the national anthem that we didn't take a knee, but rather we took a heart. There was a time when this temple was our temple. But I want you to notice tonight how long it took the Hanukkah temple to fall. Alexander invaded. It took about 300 years of brainwashing, about 300 years of the message to begin to change their minds. At one time, if you would have seen two men get married, you would have thrown up in your mouth and then vomited it out. But not anymore. Somebody got in your temple. You don't even realize what's happened to you. You don't even know what's happened to you. Alexander the Great spread the message of Hellenism. But the evil empire today is spreading the message of socialism, communism, fascism, reversed racism, classism. All these isms do not conquer America overnight. Many have risen up to fight this empire. Ronald Reagan, Rush Limbaugh, Margaret Thatcher, Donald John Trump. We were warned to protect the republic, but those people cannot do it by themselves. We are the protectors of this temple, but we were put to sleep and we became pacifists. Ladies and gentlemen, the plain truth is this. You are going to have to save America yourself. Donald Trump cannot save it. Ron DeSantis cannot save it. There's not a snowball's chance in heaven that the GOP majority in the Congress has any desire to save it. If America's going to be saved, then ordinary men and women, God-fearing patriots all across this country are going to have to do it themselves, one town at a time. You'll have to do it the old-fashioned way, the unglamorous way, by taking over the local institutions of civic life, organizing and winning elections for city councils, school boards, finding reliable and competent people willing to be candidates, staff, and volunteers like Linda Andreas over in Illinois. Linda Andreas. She's one of us, a grandmother. She solved the problem. She said, I'm going to run for the county clerk and run against a woman that was so popular that the Democrats and the Republicans loved her. With no help at all from the Republican Party. No help. It was the Republicans that fought against Linda. TAPS gave Linda $50,000. That's right, the organization that we founded. Sent her the money. We sent her our prayers. I went over there to help and be part of what she was doing. You know why? Because I realized Donald Trump doesn't save America, because America is not a nation. America is a community, one community after another community. And if these communities are going to be saved, even Donald Trump cannot do it. Only you can. Linda Andreas ran. She beat them. She beat the system. She beat it. How did she do it? She didn't know what she was doing. She had no idea what to do. Do you know what Linda Andreas did? Do you know what she did? She went into the temple and lit one candle. Blessed be God. One candle on the menorah. What candle was that? The candle of availability. Here I am, Lord. Use me and I will fight the battle. And God gave her a prophecy that she would be victorious. And even though she had no help, no idea what she was doing, today she is Madam Clerk, because God lit the rest of those candles for her. Happy Hanukkah, America. It's your turn. You need another Hanukkah. If it's going to be, it's only because you are going to do it. Stacia, you say yelling is ridiculous. That's the problem. We've been quiet long enough. I'm going to yell, and I'm going to yell louder and louder until somebody wakes up in America. It's my show. I yell if I want to. Blessed be God. And I'll yell again. You bunch of pacifists that's been quiet. I'm tired of being quiet. I'll yell if I want to. If you don't like it, take your earphones off and go watch somebody that's telling you JFK is still alive. It's time to wake up, America. That's why I don't even look at these comments. People make me so mad, saying I'm yelling too loud. Oh, hallelujah. We got into this situation with passivity. Did you hear me? We got into this situation for being so quiet and so proper. That's right. Go watch football. You don't mind if they get loud on football, do you? Listen, we got into this with passivity. And only our fight at the local level is going to get us out of it. For decades, conservatives have done nothing. We cared what people thought about us. While the left, while the empire marched through academia and then kept right on marching. They were teaching your children this stuff 20 years ago while you were sitting there telling us not to be such paranoias. They're in your libraries now with their drag queens. They're in your schools. Let me show you what it's going to take, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this. Let me show you how we get America back. I want you to watch. This happened in Loudoun County. These parents became the light. These parents marched into the temple called the school board. This just happened. And the supervisor was arrested. The principal was arrested. You know why? People said, I can't wait for Donald Trump. I've got to get involved.
County families get their voices heard just a day after a grand jury indicted the school district's former superintendent and a spokesperson. Both face charges over how LCPS handled a pair of sexual assault investigations. Tonight was the school board's first meeting since we learned of these charges. Our Katie Lusso has been covering this meeting for hours now. She joins us live to fill us in. What are parents saying, Katie?
Yeah, well, that meeting wrapped up in the last 15 minutes, and more than 70 people were signed up to speak, and speak they did.
I'm curious, guys, you still please?
One by one, dozens of parents.
You have wasted enough of our time. It is time to clean house.
And even a student.
I'm thoroughly disgusted with all of you.
Stood before the Loudoun County School Board Tuesday night and spoke their mind.
The damage done by this board in trying to lie and obfuscate your actions at the expense of our children.
It was Dr. David Smith's first school board meeting in his new role as interim superintendent after Scott Ziegler was fired last week.
Glad that Ziegler got fired, but it's not enough. And plus he was given a $300,000 golden parachute, and it's ridiculous.
He was also indicted on criminal charges Monday, as was the school system spokesperson, Wade Baird. They both made their first court appearances Tuesday. Ziegler stayed quiet, but Baird said this.
As that video continues, you can hear the parents. They showed up in mass because they were tired of their temple being destroyed. I want to say this to all of you tonight. The Everly Brothers, they had it right with their song, Wake Up, Little Susie, Wake Up. We've both been sound asleep. Wake up, little Susie, and weep. The movie's over. It's 4 o'clock, and we're in trouble deep. Wake up, little Susie. Wake up. We've both been sound asleep. Wake up, little Susie, and weep. The movie's over. It's 4 o'clock, and we're in trouble deep. Tonight, I've been commissioned to come to this microphone and call you the ordinary, non-important as it seems American to hear the call of Hanukkah. God is calling us to join together and realize that the cure for America is the same cure for Hanukkah. For us to light whatever temple, whatever light we can, and use whatever amount of oil we have. And if we will take the step, then God will use this great army of patriots, I promise you, to make a difference. Get involved. How do we do it? Light the first candle. Do the possible. And watch Yahweh light the rest. To all Americans tonight, I wish you a happy Hanukkah. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.